Very good morning, students. Since last 4 videos, we have learned about the water and how much its existence is important for earth life and we can say our life too. Today we will see some important points regarding the chemical properties of the water. Today is the 15th June, Tuesday, and we are learning about the chemical and the physical properties of water. On the slide, I have shown you the polar molecule, how it is to be formed by the water. Water has the two elements, one is the hydrogen and second is the oxygen. So, to bonding with the oxygen, it requires two hydrogen and thus hydrogen is the positive and oxygen it is the negative which charge it acquires. So the hydrogen bonding gives water unique properties due to this. So oxygen it is the central one and the hydrogen they are lateral. So this is the structure exactly which you are seeing on the slide. Water is capable of performing capillary actions which is adhesion which is showing here and the cohesion also. The process of water moving up a narrow tube against the force of gravity. This uses adhesive and the cohesive properties as water molecule stick to each other and the sides of a tube. Allows the transport of water in plants. So likewise the plants carries the water with its micronutrients into the top. Water has a very high specific tension. Again you are seeing that the insect which is to be having that the attraction with the water. The attraction between water molecules create a strong film. This allows water to hold up substances heavier and denser than itself. So the holding capacity it will have. Now the specific heat. Water can absorb a great amount of heat with a relatively small increase in temperature. This property moderates the Earth's climate and helps organisms regulate body temperature. Likewise, in our body and on the Earth, we are knowing how the water cycle it works. About half of the element on Earth can dissolve in water. Most substances required for life are found dissolved in water. So likewise nutrients, minerals, whatever it is to be, most of the compounds or that matter it dissolves in the water. Pure water has neutral pH. So when that H ion logarithm when we see about the 10, so the pH of water it is 7. So it's neutral. Water is universal solvent due to its polarity, thus it explains. Properties of water that is the phases. Now you are knowing water we are drinking in a liquid state, but it is having that three state its own presence. So solid as like in ice, liquid as like a water and the gas in a moisture. So water is the only natural substance on earth that exists in all three phases. The density of water it is see now that how that slides it will very nicely explain. Water density increases to 4 degrees centigrade then density decreases. Water is its solid form is less dense than the liquid state. Allows ice to float on the water surface, trapping warmer water underneath. Prevents water from freezing from bottom up. Ice forms on the surface first. The freezing of the water releases heat to the water below creating insulation. So likewise you are knowing about the Himalayas, the areas how it is to be flowed. It makes transition between seasons less abrupt. So ice forms on the surface first. The freezing of the water releases heat to the water below creating insulation. So these are the properties about the density, how it works. Another is temperature. Each species has characteristic growth curve with an optimum range. Now this slides it explains very nicely that you have seen on the slide. Also have upper and lower temperature limits, lower lethal limit and upper lethal limit. Outside tolerable temperature range, disease and stress become more prevalent. So the degree centigrade, corals 28 to 30 degrees centigrade, Chinook salmon that is 10 to 14, tilapia that is the 28 to 30 and Pacific shrimp it is 26 to 32 degrees centigrade. Now lentic that is lake system. Lentic systems are characterized by lower oxygen and light levels and its stratification layers of the water with different temperatures separated by density. Water temperature and the density leads to thermal stratification and niche differences. So this slide it explains about the temperature, the thermal stratification, the temperature 0 degrees centigrade, 10, 20 and the 30 where you have to be seeing in a different color. And right side slide which shows that the lake, that lethal, ellipsomet, thermostat, hydrosphere, etc. The liminions, the Illuminion, also known as the photic zone, the top layer of water and where most life is located. Below this, metaluminium is dark and cold. This layer experiences a thermocline. At the bottom, the hypoluminion is very cold and has high nutrient and low oxygen levels thanks to all of the decomposing bacteria and the protists. Now the clines. Thermocline is a layer of water in which a rapid temperature change can be measured as depth increases. Halocline is a layer of water in which salinity changes rapidly with changes in depth, and the pycnocline is a layer of water in which density changes rapidly with change in a depth. So thermocline, halocline and the pycnocline, these are the clines which we have to understand. Now this picture, now you are understanding how that turn over in lakes. In fall, colder days, the wind cools surface water. This denser, cooler water sink, carrying oxygen down to the depth. This pushes up warmer water and nutrients from the lake bed. This warmer water cool when they reach the surface, start the cycle once again. Good for redistributing oxygen and bad for redistributing hypolynian toxin. So this is about the turnover in lakes, what it happens exactly. Now the chemical properties. The dissolved oxygen DO. Along with temperature, dissolved oxygen DO is important in metabolic regulation. Dissolved oxygen concentration and temperature both determine the environmental niche aquaculture organisms occupy. At the ocean or the lake, in the river, so the dissolved oxygen which will get by the frogs, by the fishes and the aquatic animals. Acclimation is slow with dissolved oxygen, that is hours, weeks, etc. Oxygen depletion is the most important cause of aquatic organism death, and that's what we have to take much more oxygen to reach to the aquatic animals as much easy. Now the chemical variables about the dissolved oxygen. Although oxygen is rather abundant in the ATM, that is 21%, it is only slightly soluble in water. 6 milligram per liter is not much. So this is that much more present, that is 21% in the atmosphere. Implication to aquatic organisms, metabolic rates of communities can affect rapid changes in dissolved oxygen, and this effect increases with the temperature. Solubility decreases with increased temperature, and that's what the temperature it should be optimized when that oxygen which will require for the aquatic purposes. So in oceans, in whales, in rivers, we have to maintain the temperature. Oxygen dissolves into water from two sources. One is the atmosphere, that is aeric oxygen with water interface, and the aquatic plants and algae, that is photosynthesis. Generally, organisms need greater than 5 ppm dissolved oxygen, but that is species dependent. So the trout, that is greater than 10 ppm, and carp, that is 1 to 2 ppm. Oxygen is the most important limiting factor in aquatic life. So at our Rankala lake, we are knowing how that oxygen and the dissolved oxygen it is important. As much as that the plants which are increased in the lake, so the animals cannot get that the proper oxygen to them, and that's what that aquatic life it disturbs. Amount of dissolved oxygen depends on temperature, photosynthesis, that is algae and macrophyte, light penetration, turbulence, air-water mixing, and the organic decomposition. So whatever the waste we are throwing into the resources of water, we have to stop it and we have to keep it clean as much as for our living purposes. Chemical variable, that is carbon dioxide, another example. Normal component of all natural waters. Sources: atmospheric diffusion, respiration of species, biological oxidation of organic compounds, that you know. Carbon dioxide is not particularly toxic to fish or invertebrates. Its sufficient dissolved oxygen is available. Maximum tolerance level about 50 mg per liter for most species. Carbon dioxide, which dissolves into water and forms carbonic acid. So carbon dioxide plus water, which is a reversible reaction that you have seen on a slide, H2CO3. So carbonic acid which forms. This carbonic acid is a weak acid which dissociates into two steps. First it is the H2CO3, H plus plus HCO3 minus, and again HCO3, H plus plus CO3 2 minus. Carbonate ions, that is CO3 2 minus, interact with cations to have precipitate with magnesium and calcium. So magnesium carbonate and calcium carbonate which prepared. Surface water often becomes acidic because atmospheric carbon dioxide dissolves in it. This acidic water can dissolve limestone. Dissolved oxygen and dissolved carbon dioxide are inversely related. The carbon dioxide sources: free carbon dioxide H2CO3, combined, that is CO3 2 minus and HCO3 minus. Free carbon dioxide is corrosive at levels about 25 ppm. So at the gathered or at the where that the peoples are more or that vehicles are more, we are knowing how much suffocating we feel. Carbon dioxide can change the pH of water too. How's it? This is how it works. Let us see one by one. Carbon dioxide dissolves slightly in water to form a weak acid called carbonic acid, that is H2CO3. So carbon dioxide plus water, there is the formation of carbonic acid, that is H2CO3. Then carbonic acid which reacts slightly and reversible in water to form a hydronium cation, that is H3O plus, and the bicarbonate ion, that is HCO3 minus. So let us see the example and the reaction. H2CO3 plus water, there is that irreversible, the product which is to be formed HCO3 minus and H3O plus. This chemical behavior explains why water which normally has a neutral pH of 7 has an acidic pH of approximately 5.5 when it has been exposed in air. So as water actually it is neutral having pH 7, but in lake water, in river water, we are knowing that acidic it shows the pH. Carbon dioxide can buffer the pH of watersheds. First, let us see. Rainfall collects dissolved carbon dioxide. As rain hits land and it moves through soil and saturates with the more carbon dioxide in soil, creating concentrated carbonic acid. So on the land, when rainfall it happens, we are knowing there is the formation of a carbonic acid. CO2 plus H2O, there is the formation of H2CO3. This carbonic acid comes in contact with calcium rich rock like limestone, creating calcium bicarbonate. So thus the calcium bicarbonate which is to be formed by the water. Calcium carbonate plus H2CO3, there is the formation of calcium HCO3 twice. That is the bicarbonate. Now the calcium bicarbonate decomposes into calcium carbonate, water and carbon dioxide. The calcium carbonate CaCO3 precipitates as limestone, H2O and carbon dioxide enter the watershed forming carbonic acid. So CO2 plus H2O, there is the formation of a carbonic acid. Again carbonic acid combines with water to form strong buffer, that is the HCO3 minus. This is about the Lake Nyos, where we are knowing how it changes its work. So the clean water and which is to be covered water, we are knowing how that water it gets that the pH which is in a decreasing condition, so it becomes acidic. Carbon dioxide Lake Nyos, which shows that now Cameroon volcanic lake sits over active geothermal areas. Carbon dioxide accumulates in water, creating supersaturated lake. Heat causes violent eruption of carbon dioxide. 1986 eruption of carbon dioxide gas killed 1700 people. Is this Yellowstone? Let us see. As PCO2 increases in blood, that is carbon dioxide concentration which increases in blood, the pH of blood drops. Slow respiration rate drops the pH and decreasing pH leads to cellular death, and that's why we feel very much uneasy or low BP which it happens in a carbon dioxide area. So we have to keep that optimum carbon dioxide and we can leave it very easily. Now chemical variable, that is the pH. Now this strip you are knowing that battery acid, lemon juice, vinegar, water, that milk, then baking soda, milk of magnesia and ammonia, the range of the pH. The pH level of intensity of a substance, acidic or basic character. This is about the pH. Then the negative log of the hydrogen ion concentration, that is the activity of a substance, is nothing but the pH. pH of water is stable due to carbonate buffering system unless other forces intervene. So on the slide you are knowing how much amount or how much number of the pH which is to be shown by the normal range. The source of pH change. Decay of organic matter. So much more organic matters is present, so pH is changed. Oxidation of compound in bottom sediments, that is also the source of the pH change. Depletion of carbon dioxide by phytoplankton on diel basis, that is also one of the reason to change in a pH. Oxidation of sulfide containing minerals in a bottom soil, that is also one of the reason to change the pH. Fish population require pH 6.5 to 8.5. Fish species can tolerate extremes. So we have to keep that alkaline and little bit of acidic nature. That is, most of the neutral pH is required for the aquatic life. If it will change in acidic or that more alkaline in nature, so that aquatic life or fishes it cannot live in a water. The pH of water determines the solubility and biological availability of chemical nutrients. So the phosphorus, nitrogen and carbon and heavy metals, that is lead, copper and the cadmium, they are the sources that determines the solubility and the biological availability of a chemical nutrient. Metals tend to be more toxic at lower pH because they are more soluble. For example, in addition of affecting how much and what form of phosphorus is most abundant in the water, pH also determines whether aquatic life can use it. In the case of heavy metals, the degree to which they are soluble determines their toxicity. So likewise now we are suffering that the lead toxicity in the oceans as well as in rivers, and now it contaminate the whole aquatic life, and that's what now it is to be having that detection in the presence of the human body too. So it is a toxic, and that's what that aquatic life as well as the human life, it is in a danger state. As water bodies age, their pH changes due to accumulation of decomposing organic material much more. Now the total alkalinity. It is the ability of water to neutralize an acid. Alkalinity is primarily composed of the following ions, that is carbonate CO3 minus and HCO3 minus, hydroxides, ammonium, borates, silicates and the phosphates. Units are parts per million of calcium carbonate. Alkalinity in ponds is determined by both the quality of the water and bottom muds. Thus, a total alkalinity determination of 200 mg per liter would indicate good buffering capacity of a water source. But as it increases again, it is not to be good for the oxygen level, and that's what it should be optimized. Now the hardness. The total concentration of metal ions expressed in parts per million calcium carbonate. Dear students, now you are knowing also we are suffering lots of that the kidney stones. So it is one of the reason that the calcium carbonate quantity which is present in water, and we are taking by means of direct or indirect way. So as the concentration of the calcium carbonate or that the carbonates of metal ions it increases in our body, it cannot be thrown out by the urinary, and that's what it accumulates in the body, and we are having that the kidney stone problems. Primary ions are calcium 2 plus and the magnesium 2 plus. Also iron and the manganese. The total hardness approximates total alkalinity. Geology dependent. Calcium is used for bone and exoskeleton formation and absorbed across gills. Soft water equal to mold problems for crustaceans and the bone deformities. Nitrogen. Three reservoirs of nitrogen cycle are present. One is the atmosphere, second is the inorganic compounds, and third it is the organic compounds like urea and the proteins. Few organisms can use atmospheric nitrogen N2. Without nitrogen, we cannot have that coolness in our environment, or we can say directly that Earth cannot survive. Plants use nitrate, that NO3 minus, so N2 must be fixed before use. Now this nitrogen fixed by the lightning, likewise that nitrogen and the oxygen, there is the formation of NO2 plus water, and there is the formation of nitric acid and the NO3 minus ions. This is to be the cycle which is shown on a slide, correct way how it is to be reached to the plants, and again it throws into the environment. This is it. Due to the lightning, what it happens, likewise that nitrate NO3 minus which freeze by the clouds struggling, and there is the soil which it takes by the nitrate in the pond, and then it absorbs to the plant again. So the dead organisms and the feces which has to be ammonium salt they form, and that nutrifying bacteria again it turns itself into the soil nitrate. Once again it goes to the environment. Nitrates absorbed by plants for use in making proteins. So herbivores eat plants and convert to animal protein. Decompose convert dead plant and animals to ammonia forms of nitrogen, that is ammonia and NH4 plus. Bacteria convert ammonia to nitrate NO3 minus and the nitrite, that is NO2 minus. Byproduct of decay, that is the nitrogen and the ammonia, can indicate sewage pollution if it is to be more, and reacts with the chlorine to reduce effectiveness of chlorine treatment in wastewater facilities. Likewise, so we have to think whenever there is the nitrogen or that lightning which is to be happening, it is to be necessary for the plants to survive. NO2 minus, that is nitrogen nitrites, form when bacteria convert ammonia to nitrites. an intermediate compound. Large amounts indicate industrial pollution and used in large tanks to prevent corrosion, which can cause methemoglobinemia. It can cause methemoglobinemia. So likewise nitrogen, which is present in the nature, again it will use for the different purposes. Now nitrites, NO3 minus, which form by electrical storms, nitrogen fixing bacteria and breakdown of ammonia by bacteria, large component of fertilizers, which is product of decay too. Non-point source of pollutant, that is also the nitrogen nitrites. And nitrites are plant nutrients and with phosphorus cause eutrophication, which can contaminate farm wells. So it's a very toxic. Next element is the phosphorus, which is having the three forms in aquatic ecosystem. Phosphates, inorganic PO4 minus, organic in tissues of organism and in dissolved organic molecules. Dissolved phosphorus absorbed by plants and used to make ATP. It returns to water when plants die by action of the decomposers. So, due to the phosphorus, the leaves can have that strength for the having that or the preparation of their food by means of the photosynthesis. So likewise animal manures and the biosolids which decompose to the land, that is organic phosphorus, microbial and the plant residue and humus which is to be formed, it goes to the soil and then again reaching to the plant tip, which enhances likewise the nitrogen fixing abilities of algae. Also phosphorus helps as like a key limiting factor. Then it enters watersheds from sewage, industry, agriculture, animal waste, decaying plants and the animals. And phosphorus removes from the detergents but still in household cleaners. So we are having different kinds of phosphates and using day by day, so which is toxic for the plants. Next it is the total suspended solids. Reflects productivity of a water body which consists of living and dead phytoplankton and zooplankton, sludge, human sewage, animal excrement, parts of the decaying plants and animals and industrial waste. So the total suspended solids which is present in the water, that amount of weight of suspended that is not dissolved matter in a given volume of water. Likewise at Ranka we are knowing that near about 9 to 10 meters we are having that wall of this suspended solids and which is not useful. So it is very dangerous for the living animals or that aquatic animals too. Indirectly measured by measuring turbidity, that is the clarity, and that's what water has that turbidity and it is toxic for the animals. That aquatic animals much more they affect. Dissolved solids, which is also the one another point, that is the general assessment of water health. Determine the total concentration of solids which are dissolved in the water. For example, phosphates, nitrates, alkalis, sulfates, iron, magnesium and acids, which measured by evaporating water sample and weighing remaining solids. It affects water clarity with TSS, that is total suspended solid, which is to be present. Next impact factor, it is the temperature, which determines solubility of the compounds, that is the gases. Species have narrow thermal performance and are stressed above and below optimal temperatures. Increase the temperature kill organisms by increasing metabolic rates and removing oxygen from solution. Stratification via temperature of a lake creates unique niches. Biological oxygen demand, which is another term, a measurement of the amount of oxygen used in the given water sample over 5 days, which results are expressed in parts per million. Used in wastewater treatment plants and field testing of water bodies. It reflects the amount of decay and bacterial decomposition of plant and animal water. So the well water, lake water, where that biological oxygen demand is sufficient, then the fishes or the tortoise or the aquatic animals can live very nicely. Next, term is the chemical oxygen demand. We are knowing most of water bodies are there wherever they are. So the human are, or we can say that peoples are using them for the washing purposes, for the vehicle washing purposes. Maybe they are cleaning their own the clothes, utensils, etc. And that's what it happens. Whatever the soaps, whatever the material it is to be used to for the cleaning. So likewise, that chemicals directly or indirectly went to the water bodies. So an indirect measurement of the amount of the decomposition of organic compounds, that is nothing but the chemical oxygen demand. So when that chemical oxygen demand is increased, so that it is very dangerous for that living, or that we can say that the water resource. Standard method for indirect measurement of the amount of pollution that cannot be oxidized biologically in a water sample, and which reflects the amount of decay and the bacterial decomposition of plant and animal matter. And that's what water has the smell which is very bad and we cannot drink. So that is the one of the symptom where we can say that there is the chemical oxygen demand which deflects. An indirect measurement of the amount of decomposition of organic compounds, and it is the standard method for indirect measurement of the amount of pollution that cannot be oxidized biologically in a water sample. Biological aspects of the pollution. So indirect species are the first ones to exhibit effects of a pollution, and indicator species differ by water body. So indicator species, they are there that they can indicate where that chemical oxygen demand, dissolved oxygen, biological oxygen demand, which is more or higher, the hardness, the total hardness, suspended body materials where it is to be present. So we have to think all these chemical terms very clearly wherever we are to be having our own wells or that rivers, and we have to take that a precaution to keep that water bodies as like a natural. So if this oxygen demands, it is not to be proper in a manner, so there where that it is very dangerous and we cannot live or we cannot use that water for our purposes. So the hardness, it is 2000 times more in ocean water than the river water. Well water, it is to be consumable for the human beings, and this is our responsibility. If we keep that water very nice and without the chemicals, we can say that it will be survive for a longer. Thank you. Thank you very much. This is about the topic which is to be given to me for the 2020 and 21 year. Students, please recite it. All these slides, you go through it when you are to be having that any difficulty, if you feel that this term is somewhat hard, so just mail me, I will answer you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Take care. It's an online lecture which is to be organized by the chemistry department, Gopal Krishna Gokhale College. Thank you.